Good morning, you early birds. It is 5 minutes till Garden Coach, and I've got a lot of really interesting things to show you today. So I think you're going to love it. You're going to love it. I'm going to be a total geek today. I mean, a total geek. So, and just as a reminder, what I'm going to ask everybody to do is any questions. Please type them in on the Q&A area rather than the chat box. It's easier for me to take care of them after the presentation. So you can type as many questions that you want, and I'll stay here till the very end to answer them all. So welcome, everybody. We have about 4 minutes to go till the start time. Oh no, my watch is not good. This clock says 9:58, so 2 minutes away. Thanks everybody for signing on early. I have some interesting samples I'm going to share with you all. This is the most interesting, actually the saddest one. This was a rose. This was a rose that was planted last week, and it is a hybrid tea rose called Legends, and the deer got it. And look, the deer just shred it. You know, rabbits do clean cuts. It looks like someone has a pruning shear. Deer just take it and rip. And so they just rip the whole thing off. And this poor woman came back in just heartbroken. She lives up in Glencoe, you know, adjacent to the forest preserve. And that's where the pressure is really the highest. So it's 10 o'clock. That's so much for the teaser for what we're going to be talking about. Hi, everybody. I'm just checking this. We've got 7 people. Welcome. And I know we'll get some more signing on. I'm Jennifer Brennan. I'm the horticulture information specialist at Chalet Nursery and Garden Center. And I've been here 30 years as of 2 weeks ago. So now it's 30 years and 2 weeks. And as I was kind of killing time, you know, before the start, I wanted to show you one of the samples that a customer brought in. And I'm going to try to get it. It's shedding dried soil, but see how the deer just shred. And this was a Legends hybrid tea rose, and she had just planted it last week. She bought it last weekend in honor of Mother's Day for herself, planted it, and the deer got it, and off of Forest Preserve in Glencoe. So I'm going to be addressing how to prevent things like that in the presentation today. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. I see a few more signing on, and here we go. I'm going to get I'm going to share the screen. There we go. I have some really interesting, fun things to show you today. You can sort of see when I have it on the overview, but I'm going to put it on where is my slideshow setting? There it is, slideshow from the beginning. Okay. And these are the topics today. You got the Garden Coach handout in a separate email from Carly Thalman, and it's a 1.5 page with all the topics that I'm going to be covering. So you don't have to break your hand taking notes. But the most fun thing to talk about is that the nursery is wide open. And as I was walking across the parking lot to come to the administration building here this morning, there were 2 semis waiting to get unloaded. So last week we had 35 trucks that were unloaded. So I've got some great photos to show you how different the nursery looks. And so I just want to emphasize that things are changing so quickly every day. We get plants in, they sell out. We get more plants in, they sell out. And so, stop by frequently so you can see, what's going on. Urgent, urgent, urgent. The Viburnum leaf beetle larvae have emerged. They started emerging. And I was actually horrified when I looked at the sample that came in under the microscope. I'm going to show you the details. And then water, water, water. We still have not gotten enough rainfall. And it's such a contrast. I was watching the weather last night, and the weather anchor on Channel 7 was talking about how a year ago in May, we had the heaviest rainfall ever recorded in 1 month in Chicagoland. It was 9 3/4 inches of rain. We haven't even had, we didn't even have a full inch in April, and we're lagging in May. So water, water, water. Okay, I've got cool stuff that I've seen at the diagnostic desk, and I have slides to show you, plus some cool samples. And I won't read this, I'll just go into it. The roses, we got more hybrid teas, grandifloras, and climbers in, and they are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'll show you some photos in that. Now is the time to treat your lawns to make sure they don't get any of the fungal patch diseases. Summer patch and brown patch are the most common that we see. And this is the time to treat. You want to spray with Immunox, put it in a hose-in sprayer like this one, and set it at 7 ounces per gallon. And you want to spray 2 weeks in a row, 3 different times, and it'll keep it from getting inoculated, and you won't see the damage in July and August. Rabbits, number 1 enemy, and then number 2 enemy, the deer. And then also you want to prevent those alien insects. You can still use systemic insecticides. There's still time to treat for the boxwood leaf miners. Although I got a great sample of that this week too. I'm not going to open it because I think the gnats were emerging already. Oh yeah, there's a couple in here. So I'll show you those photos as well. And then now is when you want to protect for the fungal diseases on any of the trees and shrubs and perennials, that are in your gardens. This year, the pressure is not going to be as high, I don't think, although I'm seeing samples of powdery mildew already because we haven't had the rain to wash the spore off the surfaces of the leaves. And then weed prevention. So use your preen. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the picture of the screen at my diagnostic desk. And these were so microscopic. Okay. Can you see this? This is what the twigs look like right here. When I look close, those are, I'm going to go back. Oh no. Okay. This is the larva that had just emerged and had done damage to the baby leaves at the tip of this viburnum. See the brown one right there? Those are just newly emerging leaves. Those microscopic larvae, and these are the egg cases. So the adult, the female, used an ovipositor, shredded the bark and into the heartwood of this little tiny stem. Look how narrow this stem is right there where my fingernail is. Look how narrow that is. Tiny. And so then laid the eggs, packed it with fecal material, and then it overwintered. When I was standing there, making notes and typing on my laptop, I looked up and this one crawled out of the egg case. I watched it crawl out on the screen. Now I took a video, but the video just wasn't very good, and so I didn't want to, make you watch that one. But here it is crawling out, and then there was another one. Just followed him, crawled out of that egg case. Now they're clear, and so I was surprised to see how they looked. All right, now that's the twig with all those egg cases on it, And then this was the baby leaf. And then I took a close up of, and you can see, I should have scrolled in tighter on this one, but when I put that under the microscope, you could see all of those little microscopic larvae just eating away, just eating the tissue away. And the scary thing is, this is what they look like when they get a little more mature. This is just from Dr. Joe Boggs' slides that I always use because he has such great reference materials. But this, as they get larger and larger and larger, they just keep feeding and feeding and feeding. And there are so many of them. Look at this. There's so many of them that they can strip a whole plant. I am not exaggerating, a plant that's 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide in 3 to 5 days. People have told stories to me about they've come home one day and seen a few holes in the leaves. So like they look and they see a couple of holes in the leaves, like the leaves over on this far left side on the bottom picture. And they think, oh, I've got to take care of that shrub this weekend. They come back. They maybe see it on a Wednesday. They come back on Saturday and all the leaves are completely stripped. All that's left are stems like this, and then they're chewing through the stems as well. So when these larvae, and they feed for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then they get mature, they drop to the ground and pupate, and then come back in 2 months, like end of July, as these small adults. The adults feed again. They do a little bit of damage, not quite as much as the larvae do, and then they mate and then lay eggs, and it starts all over again. So if you have not treated with the systemic insecticide, oh, I thought I had the slide of the systemic. Oh, drat. If you do not treat with the systemic insecticide, which is the drench, you have not done that already, don't wait. You come in and get the Bonide. It's right here. It's called the Systemic Insect Spray, and it's a hose-in sprayer. You hook it to your hose. It can spray. That's where you hook it to the hose, and then it has this wonderful fan gizmo on it. And when you switch it to fan like this, okay, like this little thing twists. So you can. This is set to spray up to the top of the shrub. And you twist it and that sprays down to the bottom of the shrub. But you want to spray. And what's great about this, because it's systemic, you cover quick. And all you have to do is spray the upper surfaces of all the leaves. Just get them wet on any side of the leaf. It's absorbed in, kills any of the larvae that are present, that are there, possibly feeding right now, and it kills them on contact. But then if any more emerge, and believe me, they're going to keep emerging. What I did was I went and got more leaves and put in this bag, and look, and I'll show you this at the end so you can see it bigger, but look what they've done. And when you look at them inside, you can see they've tripled in size, which is not that big, but it's horrifying what these insects do. So check your viburnums. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, now back to the watering. Again, we should be getting an inch of rain a week at the temperatures we're having, 75 degrees or cooler. We're not getting it. So you want to make sure you're giving supplemental water. Set your sprinklers up, and then calibrate your system, which means just measure how long it takes using the sprinkler that you use and the hose that you're using and the water pressure you have. Measure how long it takes to get a ½ inch in a container in the pattern of the sprinkler spray. My house, it takes 30 minutes. Your house may be different because of different water pressure. So measure, and then realize that you need to do that twice a week, a ½ inch each time, to get the equivalent of an inch of rain. And it's so important. I mean, so important. You can use a rain gauge to measure, but also use that rain gauge to see how much rain is actually falling on your garden at your house. And I told this, I say this every week on Garden Coach. I keep my rain gauge in a garden bed right next to my driveway. So if it rains at night, I check my rain gauge and write it down in a notebook I have in my glove box in my car. And then if it rains when I'm at work, when I come home, I check my rain gauge. And if I don't have an inch a week, then I use my I use my sprinklers. And then okay, now we're moving ahead to talk about the samples that I have seen. Okay, and I have slides, so I'm just going to go through the slides right now. Anthracnose, I keep seeing anthracnose on Japanese maple. And so many people think it's just winter damage. We have the dieback on the, on the shrubs. And it's actually the damage from the fungal disease from last year. It got inoculated really seriously last year when we had all that rain in April and May last year. And so the giveaway is that the pycnidia of the fungus breaks through on the bark. So you can look at the twigs that are dead, and you can actually run your fingers over them and feel that, they have kind of, it's a bumpy surface instead of a smooth bark. You can also see them with the naked eye. They're brown raised protrusions out of the bark. That's the pycnidia, the fruiting structure of the fungus. And then you can also bring it in, and we can see it very clearly under the microscope. But if you're seeing this on your, on your plants, then you want to make sure you use Immunox, that wonderful systemic fungicide. Spray it on, and or use the drench of the bio-advanced rose and flower all in one. And for a Japanese maple, it's really easy. Now, I've had so many samples of the leaf curlers on hydrangea. They're out there, and you can see on the upper right-hand slide how those leaves have been kind of fused together. They use a silk thread, and they fuse them together up around the tip, the growing tip, and then that caterpillar. And you can see, and they blend in because they're the same color as the leaves, that light green color. And that left-hand slide, it's circled. You can see where Dr. Boggs, his photos, he had it circled. And what that caterpillar does is it eats the brand new growth at the tip, and then it pupates and has the silk inside. And 2 weeks later, it emerges, crawls out of that leaf cocoon it's made and flies away as a moth. So when you peel open those leaves, you can find the silk casings that they left behind. And you can also see the tip that had been chewed off and eaten off. And here's another picture of it. This one, a great control is to use this systemic insect spray, the same that you would use on the viburnums. If you don't have that much to spray, just use the bio-advanced rose and flower. It's the same active ingredient, and you spray it on the leaves, and both of those stay in those leaves for 30 days. If the caterpillar is feeding on the leaves that have been sprayed, it kills it, and then you don't have the damage. I like to encourage people to have treated the plants before, you start seeing this. These showed up about 3 weeks ago. So we're still seeing people are bringing samples in every day. Pachysandra, gosh, I'm getting this. I'm getting like 5 to 8 samples a day on these. And it's because of that wet spring last year. We're seeing a lot of the Volutella stem blight, and these are the samples. And the stems have brown sections on them. You'll see dead areas all through the Pachysandra patches. The best control is to use again a systemic fungicide, Immunox. This is, I should have stock in Immunox, don't you think? But Immunox is excellent, and you spray it on every 2 weeks. It's going to stop, it's going to kill any of the sporulation, stop it so you don't get more spores, and it's going to protect any of the new growth. The other thing you can do that's really helpful, water, and then fertilize. And Hollytone is a great product to use on Pachysandra. So, and it's 1 pound every 20 square feet. So that's 3 cups. And you're going to sprinkle that over a 4x5 area, and of each of the beds. Really does the trick. Really does the trick. Lots and lots of this rough bluegrass weed in the lawn. It's also called rough stalk bluegrass. It shows up because it's a paler green. It's kind of a lime green, and it tends to form patches. It has tillers. Tillers are shoots that come out of the main, and they tend to crawl up. This is a really great example of this, this photo. And the nice thing about this is that it browns out and dies back once we get hot. And so it dries out. The problem is it's an avid seeder. It makes tons of seed. So, I'm recommending to people that, you want to use the good grass seed, that your perennial bluegrass and perennial ryegrass. You want to do that this fall, so you eliminate any bare spots, and then next spring use one of the phase 1 pre-emergent and early fertilizers, and that will prevent the seed from germinating. And so you don't want to use the phase 1 or the step 1 for seeding. You want to just use a basic phase 1 pre-emergent weed preventer with the fertilizer in it. And we sell the Bonide brand here, and it's called phase 1 Bonide. Okay. All right. Now, woolly aphids, I've had 4 more samples of that this week. I talked about this last week. So, spray with the systemic, to get it on the leaves. And when those insects suck the juices of the leaf, they die, and you don't have problems on your plants. This one was new from last week, and I've had 4 samples this week of this, and it's called Black Vine Weevil. And people are concerned because they have their Japanese yews are dying. They're turning brown. And so, I thought it could have possibly been because of the wet spring and the hot, dry summer last year. But then people have brought samples in. And what is so amazing is see this leaflet right there? See how it has that notch in it? That is so distinctive of this insect. And then that's a photo of it. You can see the photo on the 2 photos on the upper left-hand side. See that notch? It looks like someone has taken a hole punch and just done a half circle. And that's so distinctive. That's the adult. Now, the adult does this damage. It's not that big a deal, but what that indicates is that if the adults, they feed at night, and you rarely see them, because when they get disturbed, they drop to the ground, and they're so dark in color, they just blend in with the dark soil. But what's really critical is the larvae that are down in the soil, and they eat all the roots off. And my reference book I have has a really good picture, and I'm sorry I didn't take a photo of that, but it shows, all the soil washed off, a healthy yew and the healthy root system. And then it shows one where the black vine weevil have chewed like 3/4 of the roots off. The other thing, and I didn't even realize it until I was putting this PowerPoint together this week, was that they also chew all of the bark off at the soil line. And see the photo right in the middle of the bottom of your screen. You can see how those are the larvae, and then there's an adult too. And you can see how they've chewed all the bark off. They've girdled the stem or the trunk, and that'll kill the plant. So these are awful. And the best thing to control these are the 12-month systemic insecticides, and use them as a drench, a soil drench. So you measure the height of the shrub, multiply that times 3. That's the number of ounces that you add to a gallon of water, and then pour the gallon right where the trunk goes into the ground. It drenches down in and saturates the soil, kills all those larvae on contact. Yay! And then the insecticide is absorbed into the plant and stays in for 12 months. So if any more come back and lay eggs, and those eggs hatch and the larvae start feeding, they get killed. And then if the adults feed on the foliage, at the top, they also get killed. So it's a wonderful control, absolutely wonderful control. Oh, this was interesting. This is a sample that came in, and someone had purchased impatiens at another location because Chalet doesn't sell them before it's safe to plant. They purchased at another location and then planted them. I think they planted them 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't just for Mother's Day. And then we had freezes, and this is what happens to impatiens when you have a frost. And you can see how all the cells in those leaves and in that tip, the water froze and shattered them. And the photo down lower was just a photo that I got from one of my references showing just a mild bit of cold damage. And that wasn't from a hard freeze. That was just experiencing cold temperatures below 40. They are insulted if the temperatures go below 40. So be careful. And that's it's the same with tomatoes, I'm going to go back. I'm celebrating today, and I'm going to be on Channel 7, 11 a.m. news next Monday with Tracy Butler, talking about the frost-free date, which is the 15th, which is Saturday. And, that's the average date of the last hard freeze in Chicagoland. Now, that means it's an average. We could still get, a hard freeze. I've been here at this nursery over the 30 years, where one year we hit 27 degrees on the 27th of May. And we lost every plant on every top shelf of the benches out in the garden, or out in the garden or the nursery area. And so, you just, weather really controls so much when it comes to horticulture and gardening. But we warned you. So if you choose to buy your plants at Jewel, off the curb, and plant them early, this is a possibility of what could happen. So just be forewarned. Just be forewarned. Okay, now let's do this. I want to remind you all about the 17-year cicada. We have people coming in and they want to buy plants, and they're worried that, oh my gosh, if I put a tree in, is the emergence of the 17-year cicada going to cause problems? And I want to repeat, and I'm talking about this, I feel like Paul Revere, the British are coming, the British are coming. I'm saying the cicada aren't coming, the cicada aren't coming. This year is brood 10, and you can see the X in that little, it's like a 3-county area down on the eastern border of Illinois, adjoining Indiana. That's the only place where brood 10 is going to be in 2021. Here in brood 13, which is in all the northern Illinois area on this map, we're not going to see the 17-year cicada until 2024. Okay, so take a deep breath and say, "Oh, thank you, Lord," and then don't panic. We still are going to get summer cicadas in July going into August, but the numbers aren't near anything like when we have a full emergence of the 17-year cicada. Now, here we are with fresh photos of the Chalet nursery, and we're going to go ahead. This is what the shade area at the gate looks like now. Look how we've got gorgeous hostas in, beautiful hanging baskets with ferns, incredible Japanese maples, and it's looking lush. This was what it looked like 3 weeks ago, and now this is what it looks like now. This is the fruit area in our center courtyard, and with an espalier, I think that's an apple. That's a three variety apple. And then you can see our strawberry pots with our blueberries and strawberries. Then look at the dwarf conifer area. It's really expanded. Many more plants have come in for that. Our vegetable area is really filling up. This weekend we should have tomatoes out and peppers. We have basil. These are peas that are already started. So if you still want to get a crop of peas, come and get the plants and put them out in your garden. and you don't have to wait for germination, which is 7 to 14 days. So you can get your crops going, soon. We also have lettuces. Oh, this is the Boxwood area. And then all the evergreens. We got a huge, I believe we had 150 6-foot arborvitae, the emerald green. And so if you need emerald green arborvitae for hedging, now's the time, and come and get it. And then the boxwood, look, they just look fabulous. Oh, this should have been the slide before. This is all the herbs that we have in stock now. So really fun. And look at the hanging baskets, the Calibrachoa hanging baskets above. Ornamental grasses are in. This is in the sun perennial area. We have a whole segment just with ornamental grasses. And then, oh, look at the tree peony. Incredible, absolutely gorgeous. And I think I counted 12 out on the main aisle. This is the Asclepias, or the butterfly weed that's in. And on we have our native table set up, so you can get your native plants there, native to Illinois. And then this is what the bench looks like. Those are all the, and then look at more of the hanging baskets in the background. And then I was standing up on a bench to show how all the shade perennials the benches are all full, and just incredible. And we've really done a lot to, shade them while they're here in our sales area. So you see the shade cloth on the top, and then we put shade cloth on the fence, that west fence. That makes a huge difference for that west afternoon sun coming in, and it's not frying our shade perennials anymore. Look at this is the heuchera, the coral bell, the colored foliage heucheras. Wonderful, wonderful selection. And then I moved back a little bit so you could see some of the bruneras and the sedges, there. And then look at all the hanging baskets. I mean, this place just exploded. It's so much fun. And there's the front entry gate again. And then these are the sun perennials. And look at all, like they go all the way back to where the boxwood display beds are. And then geraniums. Oh my gosh, there is just nothing like gorgeous geraniums. These are all in 10-inch pots, ready to go. You can put them in your containers out in front of your house. I just love the elegant look of, a red geranium, but look how cool the pink ones look too. We also have them in 4-inch containers. So if you want to make your own pots, you can do that. But boy, when these arrived, I smiled. I really smiled. Angelonia is one of those fun, full sun plants. It goes 10 inches to 12 inches tall, 8 to 10 inches wide. Those are beautiful verticals, and they're little toughies. They don't mind getting a little dry in between waterings. They really hold up, and they can take hot, dry locations. We do a lot of Angelonia, and we call it the Hell Island in the middle of our parking lot. The hoses don't reach as well as they should. So sometimes people don't water as well as they should. And so these guys just hold up. Angelonia, they come in white, pink, purples, and I think three different combinations. And there's another shot of the geranium bench. So fun. And then look at all the hanging baskets that are hanging from our pergola. It all colors, all types for sun and for shade. And then this is hydrangea heaven, I call it, because we have all the different hydrangeas. We have the endless summer varieties. Bloomstruck is the newer version of endless summer. And then in the bed, behind it are all of the paniculata types. Those are the panicle hydrangeas. Those are native. And then they've done all this wonderful hybridizing with different colors, pinks and whites. Quickfire is an earlier one that blooms with like a burgundy red, hot pink, gorgeous. Just keep, just nonstop flowers all summer long in the gardens. And then the impatiens, we finally got the impatiens in, and I want to brag about this one. This is a disease-resistant variety called Beacon, and it was selected and developed by the Ball Horticultural Company, and they're based out of West Chicago. And Beacon is wonderful, and completely resistant to the impatiens downy mildew, which can stay in the soil. If you had plants that got it and it was in your garden, it can stay in the soil for as much as 10 to 15 years. So you want to plant disease-resistant ones, and they perform just as well as our classic impatiens, good old-fashioned impatiens walleriana. So look for Beacon, and they have all the wonderful colors. And then I love wax begonias, and wax begonias are other perfect, beautiful plants for shade, shade containers. I like to tuck these in kind of underneath a sunny container, and they kind of tuck in underneath the taller plants and fill in and give you color down at the base of the pot. So, and I like this photo because you can see that they're green leaf varieties with like reds, whites, pinks, and then there's also the colored foliage, the burgundy foliage with pink, reds, and white flowers. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plants. Again, classics for warm season annuals. And then hanging baskets, we still have the violas. And then we have our signature containers, and the signatures are just getting better and better and better. And our staff they're converting them to the warm season crops, and then also for more less pinks and yellows, more darker colors in honor of Father's Day, or for open houses and things like that. So be sure and check out our wonderful signature containers. Then these are the annual areas, and again, that was the annual foliage area. These are the fruit trees and the flowering logelias and the barberries. Again, our shrubs, just wonderful selection, flowering trees. And then this is looking back through wake up, Jennifer. The evergreens, it's adjacent to where the boxwood are, and looking back into the arborvitae. And then our center courtyard is filling up with wonderful vegetables. This was the lettuce bench. And then we have our outdoor cashiers, our display area with lower display benches. So you can actually get the pots on and off without having 3 young men, help you pick them up and carry them away. And then roses. Our roses, we again, just an incredible selection arrived from the Weeks roses. We have the Dave and Austin roses, the hybrid teas, floribundas, grandifloras, climbers. They just look gorgeous. They came in. You want to make sure you're using your soil amendments. The Espoma Clay Soil Perfector, that is the best if you have clay soil, because you add it and it never breaks down. It stays in and aerates that soil forever and ever. You want to use leaf mulch, shredded pine mulch, cotton burr compost. We were out of stock earlier in the week, and at our morning huddle this morning, we found out we have everything in stock except for the small, medium, and large chunk bark mulches. But all of the other shredded ones, cotton burr, dehydrated manure, our gypsum cell sulfur, they're all in. And here it is again. We have all of these in stock now. And how to fix your lawn. Okay, we're past forsythia. We're in the middle of lilacs. So if you have not, if you didn't get a pre-emergent down, you're a little bit late now. So I'm suggesting that people get, this is my lawn. It's looking pretty good. And after getting it mowed, several times, the natural gas people put sod in, and it wasn't blending with the rest of my shade-loving grass, but it's looking pretty good now, don't you think? I'm getting really happy about it. So now you want to make sure this is the classic time, the best time to take care of any of the the fungal lawn diseases. This is the time of year, the first 2 weeks in May, when the fungus is active in the soil and it is inoculating the roots, the crown, and the leaf blades of your grass plants. So this is dollar spot, and we'll probably see that. Although the nice thing is we're so dry, we might not see a lot of this. So one advantage of having a drought. And then, but you want to spray with the systemic fungicides, Immunox for lawns, Infuse for lawns, and then the BioAdvance fungus control for lawns. And it's a higher rate of application. It's 7 ounces per gallon, and these sprayers are set to apply at that recommended rate. So you want to do it as soon as you can today, and then every 2 weeks for 3 applications. We're not rainy enough to do it longer. What that will do is that will prevent the fungus. If it's already inoculated, the grass plants, it will kill it and stop it cold, and then you won't see the patch diseases in July and August. And these were the pre-emergent. It's too late to use those now, although it is a great fertilizer if you're going to be doing any seeding. If you want to do any seeding, this is what it does to creeping bent grass, and then also it really dings up broadleaf plants. This was taken just last week, and those are my shoes, and after my lawn had been mowed, and then this is, again, the lawn care calendar. Do it once a month. I'm encouraging people to try this. This will be the best one to use at the end of this month, or if you haven't done the pre-emergent, use this now. This will fertilize for 3 months through the whole summer, and then it prevents new broadleaf weeds for 6 months. It prevents new crabgrass with the pre-emergent for 6 months. And then it will kill any crabgrass that has germinated already. So this is a new product this year from the BioAdvance people, and I've got one to try on my lawn, and I'm going to apply it Memorial Day or within the first 2 weeks of June. That's the best time to use it. And then the Spoma would also be the next one if you've already done your pre-emergent. You need to get your grub control down now, and if you have more than 12 per square inch, or per square foot, it can damage enough roots that you'll get damage to the lawn. But usually, what we find in this area is that you have skunks and raccoons that will dig up your entire lawn looking for the one that per square foot that you have. So, you want to treat now. This is the damage that a skunk did to my neighbor's yard just next door, and that was 2 years ago. So I took that picture, and you can see how they rolled that, they dug underneath and then rolled the grass up to try to find those things. This is the seed. I've told you this so many weeks, I'm not going to repeat it. Here are the roses. Oh, I can't believe I didn't put the roses together. This is that gorgeous climbing rose, and it's from the Will Radler and Ramblin Red grafted floral carpets. And then there's that close-up again. And then this is a shrub rose called Grace and Grit Red. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, public enemy number 1, rabbits. And so you want to use the plant skeed and or the rabbit liquid fence dual action. And, get that out now so you can really offend the adults so they won't bring the babies back. And I've said this over and over, how the babies don't have a sense of smell or taste until they become adolescents, and they'll eat through even plant skeed. So this is the one you want to use if you've got a lot of rabbits in your area. My cat loves watching the rabbit that sits in my backyard. I used to have a clover lawn, and the rabbits got in the habit of eating the clover. So they've come back to see where the clover is, but I decided to get rid of it all when I had to get rid of the the lesser celandine, and that's coming up. Hold on, I'm going to get a sip of water. All right, keep going here. Now, samples have been coming in, and the larvae that are inside the boxwood have pupated. So the samples I'm getting in don't look like this upper right hand picture with the larva or the maggots. I forgot they're called maggots. Oh, that's disgusting. And they look like this. See that middle picture where they've pupated, and you can almost see how they're going to look like adults. You see their eyes, and you can see their legs kind of folded in front of them and wings down their back. They're going to be emerging from the plants. And that's why this sample that came in, when I peeled open one of the leaves, it had the pupa in it. And so I don't want to take it out in case, because several of them have emerged as gnats in the bag, and I don't want to let them go. Okay, but again, spray the plants. If you haven't sprayed or you haven't used the drench, use the systemic insect spray, and that will be in the foliage, on the foliage. It's absorbed in, and when the adults chew their way out, they ingest the insecticide, and it kills them. It stops the life cycle. If they get out before you get it sprayed, and you'll see a cloud of gnats flying above the boxwoods, and these are little tiny things. You'll see that. Then when they lay the eggs on the new foliage that's forming, and it's just starting to form right now. So I think we're about 2 weeks before you're going to see all the cloud of gnats. But so when those eggs hatch and the larvae chew their way back in, if you spray the leaves, it'll stop their life cycle. Okay. And then this is what it looks like when you look at the upper surface, and you can see that's where a larva had been feeding underneath, and it just looks like a bump. These are the flowers that are in bloom on the plant. This is what spider mite damage looks like, and it's called stippling, just little yellow dots all over. And we're seeing more and more of this on the boxwood, especially with the hot, dry summers we've been having. And another photo of that. And then this is psyllid. We've had psyllid for many, many years, and it causes that cupping of the tips. And using the same systemic insecticides will take care of this as well as the boxwood leaf miner. Okay, and this is the two systemics, the bio advanced, or that was the old label, Bayer advanced, and then the Bonide tree and shrub. Now, the plants that are susceptible to fungos are crab apples, cotoneaster, that's apple scab, blackspot on roses, rust on botrytis bud lice on peonies and roses, Volutella stem blight on Pachysandra and boxwood, and then powdery mildew on lilac, monarda, roses, and many, many more plants. We're seeing powdery mildew on turf right now too. Patch diseases, I talked about that earlier. You want to take care of that. And the products to the rescue, if you use it as prevention, spray the fungicide now. You prevent the plants from getting inoculated with it and prevent the disease from coming out. There's my favorite, Immunox. We also have Infuse. And then we have the Hosen sprayers. We have the Bonide brand, and then we got the Ortho brand back in also. And they're both equally as good, very scientific tools that will spray according to the dial that you set the rate on. These are the drenches. My favorite. I talk about them every week. And for roses and flowers, and then also shrubs and small trees. And the bio advanced all-in-one has the fertilizer, the fungicide, and the insecticide. The Rose RX, it only has the fungicide and the insecticide if you want to use your own fertilizer instead. And then these are the Earth Friendly Natural. I've had 4 samples of peach leaf curl come in, and this is I can take this one out because it doesn't spread all over the place. But this peach leaf curl, the leaves get all contorted in shape. And then you get kind of that peachy and reddish colored lump on, on the leaf. And it doesn't kill the plant. It just defaces it. It doesn't look good. Those leaves will still photosynthesize, but if you can prevent it, you want to spray early in the spring with the copper soap, and then spray once every 7 to 10 days, and that keeps it from spreading to the new foliage and the fruit. You want to keep it off the fruit. And these are just close-ups of what you're preventing: apple scab, anthracnose and oaks, lilacs, and hostas. I haven't seen much of this at all this year. This is really nice. And then blackspot on roses. And then the Ficaria nevus. If you haven't treated this now, it's going dormant right now. So just say goodbye to it, and then be prepared to spray it next season. And those are the recommendations I've talked about for the last 5 weeks. And then the best to use is the chickweed clover and oxalis in the lawn. Early in the season, it was the Weed Beater Ultra. And then Roundup or a glyphosate replacement in the planting beds. If people are looking for an earth-friendly natural, this is the best. It's called Weed Beater Iron. That's Fe is the elemental sign for iron. And this just kills the top. So you need to respray the weeds as they emerge from the perennial roots, like a dandelion, and respray every 6 to 8 weeks. And then after 3 times in the summertime, all the energy is depleted out of that root system, and then they die. So this is a good alternative. Just takes a little more work. Oh, this is the time. This is in your ground cover beds and your roses. You're seeing all the weedy grass plants that are coming up through, or grass that has jumped over the edge of the lawn and is growing into the beds. This is the best thing to use. Grass Be Gone. And it used to be called Over the Top. You just spray over the top of ground covers, over the top of roses. Don't do it on ornamental grasses because it'll kill ornamental grasses. But over the top of all your herbaceous broadleaf plants, and it'll kill the grass. It works, and it takes about 10 days to 14 days, and then the grass just disappears out of those as the weed. Fertilizers, make sure you fertilize. Seeing some 2-spotted spider mites still on houseplants. And so you want to spray with this product is excellent. It has the insecticide, the fungicide, and it also has a miticide in it. So I like this. You do need to move the plant outside to spray it. Spray, let it dry, bring the plant back in, and takes care of it for 30 days. And then these are the new houseplant insect controls that are earth-friendly natural. You've got the organic insect control, which is sulfur and pyrethrin, and organically derived pyrethrin. And both of those that's the same formula. And then we started doing this where I end the program each week with what I'm doing in my garden. I'm still working on my own vegetable garden. I bought my cotton burr compost and my Dr. Earth vegetable planting mix, but I didn't get into the garden. I have one day off, and man, I was doing 100 things, and so I've got to do that. And then I'm watering like crazy. I am watering like crazy because, and then I still didn't get my strawberry baskets repotted. So that's on my list to get that done. Next week, I'm going to have a positive report. And then I'm going to show my pansy lanterns again. Oh, this is how I'm going to do my garden bed, one of my raised beds. I'm planning it just like that this weekend. And this is based on Renee's recommendation from Renee's Gardens and in her garden seed packs. And instead of doing seed with the peas, I'm buying the pea plants here at Chalet. So I can get some, I love fresh spring peas. I just think they're the tastiest spring vegetable. So I'm going to do that. And then here are my pansy lanterns, and look how they keep filling in and filling in. So my future daughter-in-law just got back in town last night, so I'm going to have them over this weekend so she can see how cute my pansy lanterns look. So here we are. These are getting old. I need to change this photo now that all of our bulbs are, are finishing out. So I'm gonna open up the questions and answers. And here we go. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Okay, I'm back. And then here the Q&A. Okay. Very good. Okay. Can you please tell us, this is Mike McKinnon, and I think this might be Susan. Yeah, this is Susan. Hi, Susan. Can you please tell us about how you plant your strawberries in the hanging pots? Oh, Susan, what a great question. Okay, I used to do my strawberries in a strawberry pot, where they came out, and I had it on a table out in the middle of my patio, and I never got any strawberries. I just couldn't figure it out. Well, the silly chipmunks and squirrels were getting up on the table and eating my strawberries. And so I realized that one morning when I was home and watching. And so a year ago, I planted all my strawberries in hanging baskets. And I had 3 hanging baskets, and I have one of my bird feeders that is a 3-topper, and I just hung them up there. And I put 3 strawberry plants in each basket. And I put a time release fertilizer on it. And oh my gosh, I got lots and lots of strawberries. It was so cool. It was just so much fun. And the variety that I got is one called TriStar. And I actually, we didn't have them at Chalet. We ran out here at Chalet the year I wanted to do this. And so I went to Stark Brothers in Missouri, and I ordered bare root. I got 25 bare root plants, which was almost ridiculous. So I planted 3 pots for me. So 3 times 3, that was 9. So then that left me 16 plants. So I planted hanging baskets for several of my coworkers, just as a thank you for working with them. And they hung theirs on their bird feeder hooks, and we all enjoyed, strawberries. Now, I was able to overwinter them in the hanging baskets. I just put them on top of my window wells outside of my house, and they all came back. But I need to separate them because they filled the basket up with all their roots, so that's why I need to repot them. So I hope that answered it for you, Susan. Now, does Chalet carry any scented geraniums? Susan, we have not gotten them in, and they're in our herb area, in the center courtyard. But we had a lot last year. I'm sure we're going to get them this year. I'm sure. What I can do is I'll keep my eyes open, and I'll email you when I see that they've come in. Okay. Great questions. I love these. Okay. Now, Usha. Hi, Usha. Does the tree and shrub drench work for Viburnum, or is it only for borers? I have this product. The tree and shrub works beautifully for the Viburnum leaf beetle. Absolutely. But you need to have had it in the plant pretty soon. If the plants are short ones, it'll be up to the tips, if you use the drench, it's up in the tips, usually in about 2 weeks. But if it's a taller plant, it's going to take a month to get the active ingredient up to the tips of the leaves. So if you haven't used it, use the spray. Okay, Usha, could the lawn? Oh, can I get the lawn calendar? Oh, sure, Usha, I'll send that to you. I'll email it to you as soon as we finish the garden coach. I'll be glad to send that to you. Okay, I hope things open up. We cannot. Wait, I hope things open up. Oh, we cannot wait for your talk to the garden club on plant damage and insects. Oh, okay. That's great. That's great. Usha, thank you so much. Yeah, that's cute. That was cute. I appreciate that. And then here's Dee Santucci. Hi, Dee. Okay. When the daffodils are done blooming, how long does it take you for transplant or to split them? Okay. What you want to do is you want to wait for the daffodils to be up and in the sunshine and recharging the bulbs for 6 to 8 weeks. I like 8. I actually go 8 to 10. And they've been finished blooming for quite a while now. So, and then, then after that 8-week mark, then you can dig them up and transplant them if you want. You can do that, right? You can do that whenever you want, and then they'll root back in. Great question. Great question. Okay. And then here we go. Christy Vick. I love your program. I learn so much every week. Wow, thank you. That's the plan. That's the plan. Thank you so much. And thanks for enjoying my geekism here, especially when I get all these gooey, samples, especially with the insects. Okay, Christy, please send me the lawn calendar too. You know what, Christy, do me a favor. And I know Usha's email because I can correspond with her quite frequently. Christy, if you'll email Jennifer B, so JENNIFERB at chaletnursery.com. It's Chalet Nursery, all one word. And then I'll just reply. And that makes it easy for me. I'll reply after I finish doing the presentation right now. And yeah. Oh, you just did it. Here I am talking and I didn't look at that. Okay, this is great. Perfect. I'll do that. And here we go. Okay, and then D. Santucci again. Does this also apply to tulips and all bulbs? Yes, it does, D. You want to, and what I do when my bulbs finish blooming, I mark on my calendar. Oh, boo-hoo, my bulbs are finished, and then I count out, 8 weeks, and then I know I can cut the foliage off. So you don't have to wait for the foliage to turn yellow and die back. You can cut the foliage off, or you can transplant. But you want to give the bulbs a chance to recharge before you transplant them, because you don't want to disturb the roots and you don't want to damage the foliage, before they recharge. Okay, so these are great. Well, you all are so wonderful. Thank you so much. Oh, there's a chat. Let me open the chat up and see. I saw that chat come in. And the chat this is from Marianne. What can I use in place of the Bio Advanced Rose and Flower for plants near my vegetable garden or my herb garden? You saw the Earth Friendly Natural products I put up. The favorite one that has an insecticide and the fungicide in it, Marianne, is the Bonide brand tomato and vegetable treatment. And it's also the same as the orchard treatment. And it's sulfur to kill mites and to prevent any fungal diseases. And then an organically derived pyrethrin grown from organically grown daisy plants. So that's, and you can actually use that on your vegetable garden and your herb garden. And you can spray one day and then harvest the very next day. They're really great products. Okay, and then here's Dee again. Thanks for all your answers. Enjoy your classes. Thank you so much. And then Susan again, what should we do with grape hyacinth when they get too full? I think, Susan, what you're talking about with grape hyacinth getting too full is the bed's getting too full. So usually if they're too full and packed too tight, they stop blooming as much. And so then that's when, after the foliage has recharged, that's when you lift them or dig them up and divide them, put a clump back in and then spread them, other areas. The other nice thing on grape hyacinth is if you keep them well fertilized, they tend to recharge themselves. They tend to naturalize and perennialize on their own. So again, I like the Dr. Earth bulb food because it has that higher, I believe it has I should know this because I'm selling it nonstop. I think it has a 14% phosphorus, which is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, now Usha again, when tulip or daffodil bulbs are transplanted, when do you fertilize them after you transplant? Yes, actually, Usha, what I like to do, I like to fertilize them after they finish blooming and then as they're recharging, because that gives them the building blocks to really beef up the bulbs, and then you can transplant afterwards. But I also like to fertilize after you transplanted just to help them get their roots established. And then also fertilize, remember where they're located. and fertilize in the fall, in late September, early October. And that really helps them. That's when they're setting the flower bud for next spring. And when you give them that extra fertilizer, gives them the building block they need to put themselves together. So hey, these are just incredible questions. You all have been wonderful. I think I still have, I was going to see how many other people I have. I want to, there we go. I still have 5 of you. Thank you so much. And thank you for staying tuned into the Garden Coach. Come and see me, out in the nursery or in the store too. We all wear our masks. We're all getting vaccinated. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Thank you all. And I really appreciate your attendance to our webinars. Okay. Bye now. Oh, I have to write this name down. Hold on, I'm going to get this name. Here we go. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. There it is. Christivic. And all right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.